ओ गोपीजनवल्लभा जयो गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी जय कुञ्जबिहारी जय कुञ्जबिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुञ्ज बिहारी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from the third canto, second chapter, verse number 31. Vippanan vishapanena nigraya bhujagadipam uttapyapaya yadgavas तत्तोयं प्रकृतिस्थितं विप्पनान् विषपानेन निग्रय भुजगातिपम् उत्थाप्यापाय यद्गावस् तत्तोयं प्रकृतिस्थितं विप्पनान् विषपानेन निग्रय भुजगातिपम् उत्थाप्यापाय यद्गावस् तत्तोयं प्रकृतिस्थितम् Mataji's. word to word translation, and then we will go to the next verse and read its translation and purport. Word to word. Vippanan, perplexed in great difficulties. Vishapanena, by drinking poison. Nigraya, subduing. Bhujaga adipam, the chief of the reptiles. Utthapya, after coming out. Apayayat, caused to drink. Gavaha, the cows. Tat, that. Toyam, water. Prakriti, natural. Stithim, situated. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were perplexed by great difficulties because a certain portion of the Yamuna was poisoned by the chief of the reptiles. The Lord chastised the snake king within the water and drove him away. And after coming out of the river, he caused the cows to drink the water and proved that the water was again in its natural state. Verse number 32. Ayyajayad gosavena goparajam dvijuttamaihi vittasya chorubharasya chikirshan sadvyayam vibhuhu. Translation. The Supreme Lord Krishna desired to utilize the opulent financial strength of Maharaj Nanda for worship of the cows, and he also wanted to give a lesson to Indra, the king of heavens. Thus he advised his father to perform the worship of Go, or the pasturing land, and the cows with the help of learned Brahmanas. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Since he is the teacher of everyone, the Lord also taught his father, Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj was a well-to-do landholder and owner of many cows, and as was the custom, he used to perform yearly worship of Indra, the king of heaven, with great opulence. This worship of demigods by the general populace is also advised in the Vedic literature, just so people can accept the superior power of the Lord. The demigods are servants of the Lord, deputed to look after the management of various activities of universal affairs. Therefore, it is advised in the Vedic scriptures that one should perform yagyas to appease the demigods. But one who is devoted to the Supreme Lord has no need to appease the demigods. Worship of the demigods by common people is an arrangement for acknowledging the supremacy of the Supreme Lord. But it is not necessary. Such appeasement is generally recommended for material gains only. As we have already discussed in the 7th canto of this literature, one who admits the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not need to worship the secondary demigods. Sometimes being worshipped and adored by less intelligent living beings, the demigods become puffed up with power and forget the supremacy of the Lord. This happened when Lord Krishna was present in the universe, and thus the Lord wanted to give a lesson to the king of heaven, Indra. He therefore asked Maharaj Nanda to stop the sacrifice offered to Indra and to use the money properly by performing a ceremony worshipping the cows and the pasturing ground on the hill of Govardhan. By this act, Lord Krishna taught human society, as he has instructed in the Bhagavad Gita also, that one should worship the Supreme Lord by all acts and by all their results. That will bring about the desired success. The Vaishyas are specifically advised to give protection to the cows and their pasturing ground or agricultural land, instead of squandering their hard-earned money. That will satisfy the Lord. The perfection of one's occupational duty, whether in the sphere of duty to oneself, one's community, or one's nation, is judged by the degree to which the Lord is satisfied. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरं यत्कृपाः तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. So I'd like to seek special blessings from His Grace Narayana Singh Prabhu on his most auspicious birthday, and Tamalgon Prabhu's birthday today. So before I speak something, I'd like to seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas, so that whatever I speak, it is in parampara and it is pleasing to Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra, and this discussion on Krishna Katha will bring pleasure to all your hearts. Okay, so this is a very beautiful section that is going on in the Srimad Bhagavatam. First of all, I want to apologize because I was not ideally scheduled for the class today, but somehow Prabhuji's health is not very, very good. So he requested me, yesterday night that he instructed me rather to give this class. So on his behalf, I will try to represent him as nicely as possible. Normally it is Friday, which is a slot reserved for Prabhuji. So I'll try my best to serve all of you in the best capacity. So, so this is a very beautiful pastime. So if you see in the 31st verse, the pastime that is being remembered is the Kalya pastime, and the 32nd verse is the Govardhan pastime. So I was in confusion. Now what do I discuss? Now it's I should be doing justice to both those verses. So before we go into these two pastimes and try to figure out the similarities. So today's theme for today's class will be the similarities between Kalya Daman Leela and the Govardhan Leela pastime. So, so this is the scene in which this entire verses are spoken. The scene, the backdrop of this beautiful pastime, is a lushy green forest. The river Yamuna is flowing. The atmosphere is very sanctified, is very pure, right? And the people who are involved in this particular conversation are two great devotees of Krishna, that is Uddhava and Vidura. The backdrop may be very beautiful, but the background behind this entire pastime is tragedy. It is tragic. Why is it tragic? Because Vidura has been insulted by the arrow-like words, sharp words of Duryodhan. And for Vidura, what was painful were not the harsh words that were thrown by Duryodhan, but rather what was painful for Vidura was the silence of Dhritarashtra. Why? Because many a times, if suppose we are accused for doing something, and the very people whom we love, whom we are dependent upon, do not back us up, we feel very betrayed. How is this possible? This person knows that I'm innocent. I have not done this. No, but and when the moment came to support me, he did not say anything. And therefore, that was what Vidura was feeling. He felt, I was betrayed by my own brother. Forget Duryodhan. Duryodhan is just a child. But my brother did not support me. So this were the feelings that were undergoing when this entire episode of Vidura being banished from the palace. But he took this as the Lord's mercy. And the second tragedy was faced by Uddhava. Uddhava witnessed the entire destruction of the Yadu dynasty. And more so ever, he also saw the departure of Lord Krishna in front of his very eyes. Of course, Lord Krishna solaced Uddhava by giving the Uddhav Geet. But Uddhava and Vidura were totally very, very, very sad as to the cause of the turn of the events that happened. So therefore, the backdrop may be very beautiful, but the background of these two personalities, the behind everything, what has happened till this point of time, is actually very tragic. And in between, in amidst such tragedy that has just gone on in the lives of Vidura and Uddhava, the beauty of devotees, when they come together, when there is difficulty, when there are storms in life, when there are difficult situations, they come together and try to remember Krishna in these difficult situations. And therefore, what are they remembering at this point of time? They are even though they themselves are in a difficult situation, they are remembering those past times where Krishna was apparently put in a difficult situation. Was apparently, there was danger, right? And therefore, see, in these two pastimes, we see the most celebrated pastimes of Krishna subduing Kaliya, and we see Krishna crushing the pride of Indra, right? So, so I just kind of, so today we will discuss what are the similarities between these two particular pastimes, right? So, in both pastimes of Kaliya and Indra, both were inflicted with the disease of pride and envy, right? And there are differences actually. Like, like when a person is proud, he feels, there's an inflated sense of self-worth or a feeling of superiority over others. But when a person is envious, he feels resentful of another person's success. Pride says, I am great. Envy says, you should not be great, right? And therefore, pride makes you look down upon others. But whereas the direction of comparison, when a person becomes envious, he looks upwards. Why he looks upwards? In resentment. Oh, this person is better than me. I should do something by the virtue of which I can bring this person down. So therefore, he may deploy many means. He may use criticism, he may use blasphemy, or it even may go up to the extent of harming another person. That is what is the extent of envy. When a person becomes proud, a person feels, no, I do not need to take the help of Krishna or his devotees. But when a person becomes envious, an envious person is unable to he is unable to appreciate devotees, or he is unable to appreciate Krishna at all. And therefore envy is a very extreme form of pride. Sometimes when we become proud, like we are in, we see, someone doing very beautiful deity dressing, or someone who's playing very expert mridangam, and if I think myself to be an expert mridang and I see someone who's playing much better than me, in such a situation we become humbled, right? We become, oh, there is someone who's better than me here. But the nature of envy is that if you see a person who plays better mridanga than you, who does better deity dressing than you, you will deliberately want to find faults. However good he may be dressing, however good an instrument he may be playing, you will want to deliberately, no, see this particular beat, he did not play it right. No, he went totally off beat. Like I was once in Kunji Bihari Mandir, and there was one Mridanga player, he was playing very beautifully during Guru Puja. And one devotee comes to me and tells me that, Prabhu, please tell this devotee to stop showing off. I was like, who am I to tell this devotee? I was appreciating, the skills that he was exhibiting in the service of the Lord, because I'm not judging that devotee was envious, but this is a symptom, right? When one cannot tolerate however good another person is. So therefore, there's a very subtle difference between pride and envy. Pride is in the seed form, but envy is the fruit, right? Is the, envy, pride, if not curbed at the right time, fructifies into envy. Pride, when not curbed, fructifies into envy. And that is what we see in both the pastimes. And more elaborately, we see this in the pastime of the Govardhan Leela, right? That is the first difference. First similarity. Second similarity, in both cases, Krishna never killed the person involved. Like practically in all pastimes of Krishna kills the demons. Whether it be Putna, whether it be Bakasur, Aghasur, Arishtrasur, practically all the demonic forces, he kills them. Kamsa. But when it comes to these two particular pastimes, Krishna does not kill, but rather Krishna purifies. He purifies them from the very tendencies they are suffering from the very anarthas that are deep rooted within their heart, right? He purifies Kalya from his pride, which more prominently the envy that he had, and from Indra, and in Indra his pride. So that is the second similarity between these two particular pastimes. The third similarity and the fourth similarity, which is going to be a major part of our discussion in today's class, is both were humbled. This third similarity, both were humbled by Krishna when Krishna inflicted crushing defeat. I'm using crushing defeat. In the world of cricket, when the opposition team scores, let us say, 300 runs, and the opponent loses just by 2 runs, we do not label such a defeat as called as crushing defeat. We say, okay, they were just about to win, but they just lost by few runs, or they just lost by 1 wicket. But just imagine, India is playing, and they score 300 runs, and Australia is all out for 70 runs. This is what is called crushing defeat, right? A defeat which is, which is beyond imagination, unfathomable. It is so humiliating, ego crushing. And this was the defeat that was inflicted upon Indra as well as Kaliya. And we will see how, right? So elaborating on this particular similarity, in the Govardhan Leela, we will also go into the pastime. We will also take out some lessons from this pastime. So Krishna, he questions, in the beginning of the Govardhan Leela, he questions, oh Baba, what are you doing? What are the purpose of all these rituals? What are you going to accomplish from all this? Is this what you are performing? Is it scriptural? Is it rooted on the basis of Shastras? Or is it based on some old age tradition which is coming along generations? Please clarify. And, and therefore Nanda Maharaj, he justifies saying, actually we belong to the cowherd community. And therefore as a cowherd community, we care for the cows. We grow grains, and therefore in order for the sustenance of our community, it is very much important that we have rains. And in order for rains to come, it is important that we please the demigod representative of the rains. And who is the demigod representative? Indra. He is the demigod representative, therefore we should worship him. We should please him. And therefore, Krishna, he speaks an atheistic philosophy. Yeah, he speaks the Karma Mimamsa philosophy, where he says, my dear father, you don't need to worship Indra. According to the law of karma,
If you do good, then you're supposed to get good. If you do bad, you are supposed to get bad. You have been a pious person. You have been a good person throughout your life. Why should there be any reason that Indra should not give you the rains? Right? Indra is just basically the deliverer of your karma. That's it. He has no any other role to play. Therefore, you do not worship. You don't need to worship. Just like we have the government. We get the we have the electricity and water. The telephone. You pay the bill. You pay the electricity bill on time. You get your electricity. You pay the water bill. You get water. If you pay the telephone bill, you get the telephone connection is intact. You don't need to go exclusively to the minister of electricity department and tell him, oh sir, you're so nice, you're so good, you're great, you're even greater than the Prime Minister of India. You don't have to flatter him. All that you have to do is just pay your taxes, pay the bills, and it's done. That is what Krishna is saying. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to perform a separate yajna to please Indra. You are a pious man, you are a good man, and you are supposed to get the rains anyways. Right? Now Krishna's speech is very sweet. Actually, even in the 10th canto of 21st chapter, there is a very beautiful verse where the gopis of Vrindavan are glorifying Krishna's sweet speech. Madhura yagira valguvakyaya buddhi manogaya poshkarekshiya vedi karirima. I'm forgetting that. So yeah, therefore, what is the gopis of Vrindavan saying? Oh Krishna, your speech is so sweet. Your words are so charming. Vedi karir ima veera muhyatir. Your speech is so sweet, so charming that even by your speech, even the intelligent get bewildered. So even though when Krishna was speaking this karma mimamsa philosophy, which is apparently an atheistic philosophy, which is not rooted, where you do not acknowledge, Krishna as the supreme, there Nanda Maharaj and the Vrajvasis get totally charmed by Krishna's words. Those words which actually enlighten the wise. When Krishna wants to pursue something, when he wants to persuade something, he can even bewilder the intelligent. He can even bewilder the wise. Right? So therefore Nanda Maharaj, because he loved Krishna so much, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, his eyes were anointed with the salve of love. Therefore, whatever Krishna said, he was ready to do it. Just imagine an age-old tradition, going through many generations, and one small boy comes and tells you what you're doing is not good. Just leave. It requires so much of faith and trust and belief on that person to be able to change your entire value system, which your entire thing, what you believe on. It really, and therefore Krishna was able to do it, right? And therefore Krishna told Krishna told Nanda Maharaj that whatever paraphernalia you have gathered, whatever arati arrangement you have done, all that you have to do is now directed to Govardhan, right? And therefore we know Govardhan is a place where Krishna performs along with the Gopas and the Gopis and with all his boyfriends and girlfriends the most beautiful pastimes. And therefore Govardhan is glorified as Haridasa Varyo. Hantaya Maddirabala Haridasa Varyo Yad Ram Krishna Sparsha Charana Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayortayoyas Pani Yasuyavasa Kandara Kandamulai. So Govardhan is glorified as Haridasa Varyo, the greatest of the servants. Actually, there is a book by Jiva Goswami called Gopal Champu, where he glorifies Govardhan, how Govardhan's entire existence, how Govardhan's entire life is dedicated to just pleasing Krishna. He says, so elaborating on this particular pastimes, he says, when Krishna goes on the Govardhan, when Krishna's feet step on the rocks become powdered to dust. The grass on the Govardhan hill feels that I should be soft enough, I should not be sharp, so that I can bring about a pleasant sensation to Krishna's feet. The clouds, because it is hot, the clouds come and they cover the sun in order to give coolness to Krishna. But at the same time, the sun is feeling, oh, the clouds have covered me, and therefore I cannot get darshan of Krishna. And then what do the clouds do? They increase the intensity of the heat, and the clouds melt away. But then what happens as a result? Krishna is feeling hot. And therefore the rain clouds come, and they cover the sun, and they, just to give Krishna pleasure, they pour upon slight, rains, just to give Krishna pleasure. The Govardhan contains so many sporting pastimes, contains so many caves, contains so many playground avenues where Krishna can enjoy with his friends. So therefore, this is the glory of Govardhan. We are now going for Kartik Yatra. Of course, I am not going. I am in the stay back team. But, we can hear more about the glories of Govardhan, right? So, so Govardhan, so therefore, when Krishna tells, cutting the long story short, Krishna tells the Vrajavasis to offer obeisances. They present offerings to Govardhan, and there is a celebration where the Vrajavasis are dancing, the Vrajavasis are celebrating. While on earth, celebration was going on in the heavenly planets, there was someone who was fuming with anger. It was fuming with fury. How is this possible? How this is a total violation of cosmic protocol. And what did Indra do? Indra called upon his Samvartak clouds. And now these are the clouds which are called only at the time of destruction. But prematurely Indra called in order to flood entire Vrindavan. And Vrajavasis became fearful. They ran to Krishna. Krishna told, don't worry, come under the hill. But Krishna, how can you pick up the hill? You're just a small, sweet boy. Krishna said, actually, Govardhan is so happy. Govardhan is so pleased by all the abundant, bountiful offerings that you offered it. And therefore, Govardhan has kindly agreed to lift himself up. And I am just an instrument. Just see, the Govardhan is not even touching my finger. It is just touching nearly the tip of my nail. Right? And therefore, Indra is confused. He is totally flabbergasted. No damage to Vrindavan. Not even a single leaf falls from Govardhan. Not a single dust particle is shaken away from Govardhan. And therefore, Indra's pride is totally crushed. This is the pastime in short, but there are many beautiful lessons that can be got out from here. And therefore, the first lesson from this particular pastime is that we'll take 2-3 lessons and then we'll go ahead with the last and fourth similarity. The first pastime is, as even Prabhupada emphasized on the purport, Krishna only wants surrender unto himself. That's all. After all, the demigods are who? The demigods are just representatives of Krishna. They are just cosmic assistants in Krishna's creation of this universe, in Krishna's maintenance of this universe. One devotee wrote a letter to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, I think we should start worshipping Lord Ganesh. After all, he is the one who removes all obstacles. Ganesh, Prabhupada wrote a letter, back to him. He told, that is fine. If you have the sentiments of wanting to worship Ganesh in order to acquire wealth for Krishna, then what you should do, You continue with the worship of Ganesh, but ensure you deposit $1 million in my book fund account. If you are able to do that, continue with your worship. Otherwise, don't do it. So therefore, it was not Prabhupada was promoting demigod worship, but Prabhupada was indirectly saying that don't do it, right? So therefore, we understand that Krishna only demands surrender unto himself. The second lesson is that for Krishna, nothing is impossible. Or as they say, impossible is nothing, right? Many times skeptics say that how could this entire pastime take place? This is just a mythology. Generally, if something has to be picked up, we need to find what is called the center of gravity. But we need to understand, no, Krishna did not have to find the center of gravity, ultimate, as he is the source of gravity. He did not have to go around, finding, where is the center of gravity? He did not need to do that. And therefore, Jeev Goswami in his Sandarbha says that inconceivability is an intrinsic attribute to God. It is a quality of God. If your intelligence is able to comprehend the greatness of God, then your intelligence is greater than God. Right? Your intelligence is greater than God. Then what is the point? So therefore, this particular pastime of Krishna, of carrying the Govardhan, may be to the logical mind very inconceivable. And therefore, Krishna is someone who bewilders everyone. Therefore, even a great leader of India, said that, if Krishna danced with the gopis, I do not consider him to be God. And therefore I consider Lord Ram. Because many a times people try to put Krishna in their so-called intelligent box, in their so-called morality box. But we need to understand Krishna is beyond it. Krishna does not fit into our conceptions. Krishna does not fit into our frame of analysis. Right? And therefore, therefore, the first lesson is surrender to me. Second is nothing is impossible. And the third, the Vrajvasis faced so many reversals. But at no point of time they questioned Krishna. Krishna, we listen to you. We just simply obeyed your instructions. Why did this happen to us? Rather, generally in our practice of bhakti, when something happens, we blame Krishna, we blame devotees, or we blame bhakti, right? For whatever has happened in our life. But at no point of time in this entire pastime did the Vrajvasis blame Krishna for it. And rather, when they did that, when they took shelter of Krishna, they were blessed with the fortune of getting continuous association of Krishna in the form of 7 days and 7 nights, right? And therefore, the lesson that we can learn is storms may come in our life. Difficult situations may come in our life. Rather than asking, why is it raining? Why have the storms come in my life? Instead of asking the question, why, rather than trying to find why has it happened to me, rather it is important when situations are beyond our analysis, situation is beyond our control, we should find shelter in Krishna. Just like the Vrajavasis found shelter in Govardhan, they did not question Krishna, they did not question the entire sequence of events that took place. So therefore, in a similar manner, when we instead of going out of shelter where we will get drenched, by the rains, by the storm of difficulties and calamities in our life, when we take the shelter of the inner Govardhan, when we take shelter of the Krishna like Govardhan, Govardhan like devotees of the Lord, then we will find eternal peace and eternal shelter and protection. So therefore, very beautiful lesson that you can learn. The fourth lesson from this particular pastime is Krishna's mercy in curbing pride. There is a very beautiful, song that comes, right? Ek din man indra ko maro, nakho pare govardhan dharo, naam paro giridhari radhe, sham sham sham. So what is being talked about here, right? Ek din man indra ko maro. What did Krishna do? Krishna crushed the pride of Indra. And just with nakha, with his nail only, he carried Govardhan, right? And therefore, Krishna is someone, he is a personality who cannot tolerate pride in his, in his devotees. Many a times in the course of doing services, we may exhibit certain abilities, but we need to understand that these abilities that have been given to us by Krishna, that whatever abilities we exhibit in the service of Krishna, it is given to us by Krishna. Because at any point of time we may become proud, and this doership mentality may come that it is because of me, after all I have done it. But we need to understand it is Krishna's grace, it is Krishna's mercy who has enabled me to do that. And therefore, in that very famous verse where Arjuna is expressing to Yudhishthir Maharaj, Tadvai dhanusta ishave sarata hayaste soham rati nirpatayo. The battle, I had the same bow, I had the same arrows, but where is my strength gone? I am the same Arjuna to whom all the kings paid obeisances to. And in that purport to that verse, Prabhupada quotes a very historical lines. Prabhupada says, one should not become puffed up with borrowed plumes. After whatever we have got is just the mercy of Krishna. Why should we become proud, right? Once, Prabhupada had given the responsibility to Yamuna Mataji, to clean his room. And Yamuna Mataji had, listed down a 5-step procedure for any devotee who comes to clean Prabhupada's room. This is how, the first thing, the dust from the floor should be cleaned, the walls should be cleaned, up, down, up, in every way. And Prabhupada then entered his room and asked, is my room cleaned? Yamuna Mataji said, yes, Prabhupada, your room is cleaned. And then Prabhupada went on his desk, picked up the stapler, opened the stapler, and he slicked his finger and said, is this what you call cleaning? Prabhupada took a stapler and said, this is what you call cleaning? So you see, Krishna does not like pride in his devotees. Even Prabhupada did not like pride in his devotees. Once Prabhupada was going on a morning walk in Los Angeles, and Prabhupada passed by a very big house, and he said that for the pleasure of Krishna, we should have a big house. And all devotees and disciples said, Jai Prabhupada, wonderful, Jai Ho, Jai Ho. Then Prabhupada passed by a very big limousine, and Prabhupada said, we should have a big limousine, a big car for the pleasure of Krishna. And what did devotees say? Jai Prabhupada, Jai Ho, very nice, very nice. Then suddenly, a dog passed by Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, we should have a dog in Krishna's service. And everybody said, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Ho, Jai Ho, Jai Ho. Prabhupada said, you fools, how can we engage a dog in Krishna's service? Right? So, Prabhupada always took an opportunity. Wherever he detected pride in his disciples' hearts, he would take pleasure in crushing them, right? As a representative of Guru Parampara, as Guru, Guru would chastise. That's why Yamuna Mataji in his book, she writes a very beautiful prayer at the end of, her reflections. She writes, whether it be the sweet exchange with Srila Prabhupada, whether it be a sweet chastisement whether it be a chastisement of Prabhupada, or whether it be correction from Prabhupada, let me have the vision of seeing all of them equally, right? Yamuna Mataji writes in her reflection, in her glorification of, Srila Prabhupada, right? So therefore, here we have discussed how when failure comes in our life, automatically we become humbled. Indra, apparently, he failed in his attempts to try to kill the Vrajavasis, and he was humbled, right? But the most difficult thing that as sadhakas we should learn is also when success comes in our life, at that time also we should showcase humility, externally as well as internally. That is important, right? And therefore, when failure comes, it is very, very easy to become very prayerful. But when success comes in the life of a sadhaka, in terms of success in preaching, success, in the form of wonderful appreciation by devotees, it is very easy to get proud. It is very, very easy to get proud. But in times of success, remaining humble, remaining, having this quality of humility is very, very difficult. And therefore, we see this, in the journey home, when His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he travels all the way from Pashupatinath, to Kathmandu. No, from Kathmandu, Pashupatinath, in order to get darshan of Shiva. He was thrown away, and he was totally devastated. How can this happen? And then what did Maharaj do? Maharaj, he smeared his entire body with ashes, and then he went there to take darshan. And that time the guards there did not recognize him, and there he was brought in front of the altar, and he was given special darshan. And there Maharaj reflects on something very beautiful. He says, I'm not sure whether the guards actually caught my disguise, but I am very grateful. I feel very humbled at this opportunity of getting darshan of Shiva. I don't deserve this, but rather I feel so grateful. This was Maharaj's reflection on being able to take, darshan. So, once Bhakti Siddhanta Sarvi Thakur, he was traveling in a boat, an engine boat, and there was a devotee, a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, started glorifying and appreciating him. Oh, Prabhupada, you have done such amazing preaching. And whereas on the other hand, you are a Goshanandi, but on the other hand, we see your Guru Maharaj is totally diametrically opposite to you. He's a Bhajananandi. And what does Bhakti Siddhanta Sarvi Thakur say? Do you see this boat? This boat is being powered by an engine. It is being powered by a battery. This battery is seemingly peaceful, does not seem to be doing anything tangible, but it is this battery which is making all the gears, all the chains, all the instruments of this boat move. My Guru Maharaj is just like that motor, that battery, and I am just like that gears, the instruments, the machine that seems to be apparently moving. All my energy, all my strength, because my Guru Maharaj is chanting, is performing his bhajan, that bhajan that he is performing is what is giving me strength to preach. So success, achievements, accomplishments, but real humility comes when you genuinely attribute that success to Guru and Parampara. And we also see the case of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada would always attribute success. Oh, it is all because of my Western your Western and European American boys and girls. I could have achieved something. Once his Gaurang Prabhu, he had given a very series of successful talks. He had become very famous because of the Atma TV serial, and he was gaining a lot of appreciation from devotees. And Maharaj writes a letter to his Grace Gaurang Prabhu, appreciating him for his success. But the end of the letter, he writes something very instructive, which I want to read for all of you. He says, Maharaj writes to Gaurang Prabhu, he says, please be humble. Souls greater than both you and me have fallen away from spiritual life due to arrogance and pride. Carefully guard against pride by cultivating humility, and never think yourself to be better than the most menial servant who washes pots in the temple. This was the last, imparting the instruction of His Holiness Radha Maharaj to Gaurang Prabhu, at the phenomenal success that he was getting in preaching, right? So therefore, we should understand everything is, because of, Krishna's mercy. I only have 4 minutes. So, so this was the third, So we also see in Kalia's pastime, that also was a crushing defeat. Just imagine, you know, you know, uh, such a poisonous snake-like entity, a poisonous entity like the snake Kalia. And what did Krishna do? Krishna so effortlessly danced upon him. Just imagine a dance floor. For any artist to dance, you need a firm floor, right, in order to be able to exhibit the art of dancing. But Kalia's hoods were slippery. And assume also that your dance floor is firm. Just imagine if the dance floor is moving. Can you still dance? No, it is very, very difficult to exhibit the art of dancing. But in Krishna's case, first of all, Kalia was constantly moving. Second, Kalia's hoods were slippery. But in spite of these obstacles, Krishna performed the most beautiful and most artistic dance for everyone to glorify for all time to come. And therefore, this was a very humbling experience for Kalia. In spite of his hoods being slippery and shaking, Krishna was able to dance. So in one sense, that is also a crushing defeat for Kalia. So therefore, in one lecture, His Holiness Radhananda Maharaj says, what should we learn from this pastime of Krishna? Krishna is constantly dancing on our tongues when we chant the holy names. Therefore, in this pastime of Kalia, we should pray to Krishna. Krishna, just like you danced on Kalia, and as a result, all the fumes, all the poison that was contained within Kalia's body came out. Therefore, my dear Krishna, I request you, please, every day when I chant the holy names, making sincere attempts to hear, come and recite and dance upon my tongue. And all the fumes of envy, pride, arrogance, deceit, which is stored in the heart in the form of anarthas, please let it come out. This should be our prayer and meditation on this beautiful pastime of Kalia. And the fourth similarity, so the first similarity was that both were inflicted with pride and envy. Second, in both cases, Krishna never killed the person, rather cured them of the anarthas. Both were humbled by Krishna inflicting crushing defeats. And the fourth is both of them received mercy because of a devotee. We should understand that. Indra, when this entire pastime took place, Indra, he was totally bewildered. He was totally confused as to what to do. But what did he do? He went to Lord Brahma seeking advice, guidance. And what did Brahma say? Brahma said, you should take Surabhi along with you. And when Surabhi, pleased Krishna by offering her milk, and then Indra went and approached Krishna, reciting very beautiful prayers in glorification of Krishna, right? And in the case of in the case of Kalia, what was the reason for Kalia getting mercy? It was the Nagpatnis. It was the Nagpatnis who petitioned on behalf of Kalia that, my dear Lord, please forgive my husband. He's intoxicated by pride. He's intoxicated by envy. So therefore, kindly please forgive him. Therefore, we see in our life also, it is important that in order to achieve Krishna's grace, in order to attract Krishna's grace, it is important that we get a devotee's mercy. And we see also in the journey home, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj writes a very beautiful reflection when that particular devotee, Ram Sevak Swami, he gives a stick to Radhanath Maharaj, saying this, carry this stick, this will protect you. And Maharaj was thinking at that point of time, what will a stick do in protecting me from the wild animals of the jungle? What will the stick do in order to protect my life? But when the actual instance came, where a pack of wild dogs were about to attack Maharaj, Maharaj just took the stick and was wildly whirling at those dogs, and the dogs ran away. Maharaj writes a very beautiful reflection there. He said, it was just because of the stick of a devotee's mercy, because of which I was protected. So therefore, we need to understand, It is only devotees' mercy. Because we are in association of devotees, there may be sometimes strains, sometimes difficulties in dealings, but we need to understand, in order to achieve Krishna's grace, it is the mercy of a devotee that is required. And therefore, we see through the pastime of Govardhan, to the pastime of Kaliya, how because they received the mercy of, because they were in connection with the devotee of Krishna, that is why they received mercy. Sarva Amogha in the Chaitanya Charitamrit received mercy because of his connection with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Right? Therefore, we should, because as long as we are connected with devotees, not superficially connected, seeking shelter in that connection with devotees, then we will achieve the grace of Krishna. Right? So therefore, I'll conclude here. I'll conclude with one particular instance. So therefore, devotees become very, very fearful of pride. And this is elaborated, this is perfectly elucidated through the particular pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrit, when Vasudeva leper gets totally cured of his disease of leprosy. He tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, my dear Lord, now that you have cured me of my disease of leprosy, I will become proud. Please save me from the pride that is going to be inflicted upon me. Everybody is going to appreciate me. Everybody is going to call me by the name Vasudev Amrit. You are the one who have received the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I will be intoxicated. I would rather have preferred that situation where worms would have come and attacked my body. So therefore, but what did Mahaprabhu give instruction? Mahaprabhu told Vasudev leper, all that you have to do is two things. Incessantly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and second, glorify Krishna wherever you get an opportunity. Preach about Krishna's glories. In that way, you will be saved from pride. So therefore, it is important we take shelter of the holy name of Krishna, begging Krishna. I remember when I was doing Govardhan Parikrama, I was in Surbikund, right? That was the place where Krishna had inflicted, Krishna had, Indra had approached Krishna, and Indra had done Abhishek of Krishna. There I was, there was a meditation. Oh Krishna, I am so proud, of all so-called achievements and accomplishments of this world that I might have gathered. So our prayer could be also, Krishna, kindly please crush my pride that may inadvertently or subtly creep in our consciousness. Right? So therefore, let us with this prayer try to chant the holy names in the mood of Trinadapi Suni Chena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtanya Sadahari. When we do these four things, when we exhibit humility, lower, when we understand ourselves lower than the blade of grass, when we exhibit tolerance more than a tree also, when we give respect and expect respect from anyone, expect no respect from anyone else, only then we can come to the position where we can do Kirtanya Sada Hari. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.